Hello everyone, it is great to see you here on Dee's Delights. Today we are going to be making slow cooker steak with caramelized onions. I don't have much time before I head off to work, so I need to have recipes that are quick and easy. Something I can either put in the crock pot before I leave or something that's really easy when I get home. So I'm going to pop this in the crock pot. What it says here is you can use any cut of steak. Doesn't matter how cheap it is. It says just remember, the thicker the steak, the longer you're going to need to cook it. You can also do frozen meat, but you're going to have to cook that even longer. So today I have beef round, eye of round steak. And it's pretty cheap. It was about $8 a pound. I have 1.5 pounds here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my steak in the crock pot. This will make Doug and I 2 meals. Then it says add water to your slow cooker until it covers the steak halfway up the sides. Now if you have thicker steaks, you'll want to cook them a little bit longer. You'll just have to see. But let's put this till this is halfway up the sides. I'm starting with 2 cups. I'll see how much of that it takes. Probably about 3/4 of a cup was all I needed. I might just put a little bit more in there. It says then add your favorite spices. This recipe used minced garlic, minced onions, and some salt. So here's some McCormick minced onions. Just gonna sprinkle that in there. Some McCormick minced garlic. And a little bit of salt. It says cook in the slow cooker for 6 hours on high if it's frozen meat. At thawed steak should finish in about 4 hours on high, or you can just cook it all day on low. Mine's gonna go in the slow cooker on low for about 8 hours. So I'll see what it turns out like, and then when I get back, we're gonna make the caramelized onions. So see you this afternoon. The steak smells wonderful. So next what you're gonna wanna do is slice up some onions. You can make them as thick or as small as you want them. You don't want too big of pieces. Heat up a skillet. Put a slab of butter in it, or 2. Let that melt a little bit. We're going to throw the onions in. And once they fry up a little bit, we're going to add some brown sugar. And then we're going to cook them until they become translucent. And then we're going to place them on top of our steaks. I'm going to go ahead and make some gravy out of the broth. So I'm going to put my steaks on a plate, cover them up with foil. Okay, fry up your onions for a few moments. Then we'll add some brown sugar. I'm going to mix about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch with 1 tablespoon of cold water, and then I'll mix it with a little bit of broth that there is. Let's go ahead and add about 1 tablespoon of, I'm going to use dark brown sugar. Hopefully that's not too sweet, but so what if it is? And then just cook them until they're translucent, or however caramelized you would like them to be. And then Doug will probably want mashed potatoes with his. You can have a side salad, potatoes, rice, whatever you want, veggies, fried zucchini like I made the other day. Once your broth comes to a boil, if you're making gravy, then you can add your cornstarch and water to it, just to make it a little thicker to pour over the meat. Mine's just now coming to a boil. And I'm just going to let that thicken up for about a minute. My onions are getting nice and caramelized. They're looking good. Brown sugar is going to make it nice. Well, of course, the butter too. I'm going to have a small piece of meat. Put a little gravy on top. Some caramelized onions. course, by now you all know I love my rice, so I'm going to try this out. I poured a little gravy on my rice. It just looks heavenly. Let's hope it tastes heavenly. Of course, the steak just kind of breaks apart. When you make this, make extra caramelized onions. That actually is what makes this steak. Because without the caramelized onions, the steak with just the onions and garlic will not have a whole heck of a lot of flavor. Another suggestion would be, instead of the water covered over the steaks, use beef broth. That'll give it a little more flavor too, but the meat's nice and tender. So thanks for joining me here once again on Dee's Delights, and I hope you have a fabulous week. See you soon.